Hey guys, it's Logan here with Hydra572, and I've got a bit of a confession to make. I am a complete and total snob when it comes to blade play. That means if I detect any blade play at all, regardless of what knife we're talking about, I'm pretty much going to mention it in the review. I've got a pretty simple criteria for blade play, that is, with the pivot screw set that I can reasonably smoothly deploy the blade. I will grab at the tip and hold on the handle, and wrench from side to side and up and down, and if I can perceive any movement at all, I will deem that blade play, and I'm going to talk about it. I really would like to feel the skin of my fingers compressing long before I feel any movement in the lockup. This means that only a handful of blades have ever gotten through their review without me at least mentioning blade play. Now, usually this is more of a passing gripe than anything else. Quite a few blades have gotten really favorable reviews out of me, despite the fact that, for my standards, they had quite a bit of blade play. Now, bear in mind that I'm not at all talking about the sort of blade play that would indicate a bad or an unsafe lockup. If I ever bought a blade thinking that it would be a quality piece of equipment, and the lockup on the model that I received was bad enough that I was worried it was going to close on my hand, that would be a central theme of the review. I probably would contact the maker and talk about how the warranty service went. It would be very upfront in the review. The blade play that I'm talking about is more of a passive quality issue. Don't get me wrong, I'm very aware that I've set exceptionally stringent standards. Producing a knife that deploys smoothly and yet has a bank vault type lockup is a very difficult task. That's why I'm so prone to admiring the blades that I have that have no blade play or very little perceivable blade play. The ZTO200 is one model that I've had that has been very good in that regard. So, in a review, when I talk about blade play, I don't want to say that it's not always a negative thing. It is always a detractor from perfection, but that doesn't always have to be a slam against the blade. Again, if we're talking about a knife in the $40 or $50 price range, I don't want to say that this is something that we should expect, but given that we have to take into account the cost of materials, the cost of production, all that, it would be unreasonable for me to review every $50 knife poorly because there is some detectable blade play. This would cause me to poorly review blades that otherwise perform great. Like I said, they're not unsafe, and depending about which blade we're talking about, they might be a great knife. Now, with production blades, there's always going to be some variability and some lemons. The knife that I receive might be very different from the knife that somebody else received. And working with the budget that I am working with, I'm typically only going to buy one copy of any particular knife to review. On very rare occasions, I might buy two. I'm not going to be buying 10 blades and checking the stock edges on all of them, checking all of them for blade play right out of the box. I just don't have the budget for it. I can only review the knife that I receive. That's why quality control is so important. I'm not going to ding you if your $100 knife has a fraction of a millimeter of blade play. The problems come when the blade play on your model knife that cost me $200 is similar to the blade play on the relatively loose Spyderco that cost me, I don't know, $40. I wish that I could show it a little bit better on camera because me grabbing the blade and doing this typically isn't going to give you much information. But I will try to be honest and report, this is what I found, this is what I would expect from a knife in the price range. It is or isn't competitive with the other knives of a similar application in a similar price range. And those quality calls are really going to be up to you and at your discretion. I can only give you my interpretation, my understanding of what the knife market is like at this point in time, in this price range, in this application range, and let the chips fall where they may. People are going to decide to purchase the blades they're going to decide to purchase. However, like I said, I think it's a helpful piece of information, and if I ever receive a blade where the lockup is concerning on the level that I'm afraid that it's a safety issue, you're going to know about it. Until then, it's just a little gripe of mine. We all have our little ticks, and I'm still looking for blades that have perfect lockup. The ZTO200 does well, the Triad lock does pretty well. Still haven't received one that was 100% perfect. We'll see how it goes. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more of the same.